Previously on Ballz.
Terrible weekend for all of us, and I know you
Yeah.
SMS'd me very early with this very tragic news at the weekend. You know, the big debate now is about hospitals. Can you believe it? As to whether or not.
No, well, look, I think people must
yeah.
get their. I think people must get the facts right on the whole thing, because that's the problem. That's one of the problems with social media, because the stories start getting a little bit out of kilter.
Yes.
And at first-hand information, it's not that he was taken to a hospital here, because I mean the most sensible place to have taken him after this had happened would have been Brits Mediclinic.
Yes,
and that's
exactly,
what everyone's
private
saying.
hospital.
But Brits Mediclinic don't have the people there that are on duty all the time to attend to the problem that arose from him being shot through the stomach, and that's the thing. So. And you know, all credit, and from the family and everyone saying all credit to the ambulance guy. They were there before the police.
Okay.
They got there before the police. On the way, obviously they need to check about medical aids and stuff like that.
Yes.
But on the way, they phoned the different hospitals.
Okay.
And there were one or two hospitals told him, don't bring him here.
Yes.
And eventually went to Califong Hospital. But at Califong, the professor, the doctor, and the people that were attending him there was no one better anywhere in the Greater Pretoria or Brits area who would have been available to do it. That is where they are.
Okay.
So, and the bottom line is that even if he had gone to Brits Mediclinic, nothing could have been done to save him. He was shot through the stomach. The bullet went in one side, came out the other side, and he just lost too much blood.
Oh,
so yeah, I don't.
Well,
not a time for finger pointing and
Well,
blaming.
it's nice that you clarify that,
Yeah.
Darren, because I understand it fully. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be chatting to Brian Mitchell, who will be coming in to join us here in studio.
Is he coming in?
He's coming in shortly. We'll also be hearing from Frans Botha, who also would like to pay tribute. A very close friend of his, Kurt Darren, said he'd also like to pay tribute as well. So they all lined up. Then we'll be chatting to whatever the hell happened to one of our former rugby players, Khafi de Toy. Somebody was asking what's happened to him. So we'll catch up with him, and hopefully we'll talk some cricket as well, just trying to get some confirmation from Sri Lanka there with regard to cricket. Yeah.
Just to let you know, by the way, the funeral for Corrie Sanders is next week Monday, and it's open to anybody who wants to attend at the Wonderpark NG Kerk, and that is next Monday, or this coming Monday actually, because today's Tuesday. This coming Monday at 11 o'clock in the morning. So just make a note if you do want to go and pay your last respects to just a great guy, Corrie Sanders. This coming Monday, Wonderpark NG Kerk, and that is at 11 o'clock in the morning. I don't know if there's a venue that actually will be big enough for the people that would want to pay their last respects to Corrie, but yeah, they were actually going to have it in Brits and at the NG Kerk there, but it is. It just wouldn't have been big enough for the amount of people that are going to be there. That's the kind of guy he was. And we're going to remember Corrie Sanders, apart from the people that are coming in, and also, are they all coming in or some on the phone?
Some on the phone, but Brian will be coming
Brian's
in.
coming in.
Chat to us,
Okay, fantastic. But we spoke to Corrie last week. Was it Thursday?
No, it was. I think it was
Wednesday.
Tuesday or Wednesday.
Tuesday or
Wednesday.
Yes, yes.
And when we had him and Francie Botha on the phone together. And yeah, I mean, you know, in that conversation that we had with Corrie and Francie, you know, we would kind of almost like threw it out there again about fighting Francie Botha one more time. And the guy was struggling in his last few years, but you know, if he almost looked at that opportunity, a possibility of getting into the ring with Francie one more time for another opportunity to get in the ring and do the sport that he loved. And was talking about it afterwards, about, you know, he'd really like to do that again. And we had the conversation, and they were, I mean, we remember they both said at the end of it, show us the money and we'll do it. So we'll listen to that chat, the last time we spoke to Corrie last week, just days before his tragic death, and also some other memories of Corrie, including when he knocked you out in the studio at another place, John.
Yes, that's right. I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone else that he'd expressed such aggressiveness to outside of the boxing ring except you.
Yeah, well, it was done in a very
It's
nice
understandable.
way. And you know, and very sadly, his last words to
Well,
me
didn't you like poke him with a
yes,
skok
with a
stock?
skok stock, yes.
What's it, a taser?
A taser,
You
yes.
tased Corrie.
Yeah, I tased him, and his last words to me on Wednesday when we phoned him for the interview, he said to me, "I don't really want to fight you, John, because you're a nobody." and it was very, very sad. I loved him. He's
You
such a lovely guy.
Corrie, always mischievous, always tongue-in-cheek, and absolutely loved you as well, John.
Yes,
so
I loved him too.
All right. So that's all coming up for you this afternoon. And on Monday, we'll have a very special tribute, the whole show for Corrie Sanders, while we'll be at his funeral that day. Right, what's happening in the sport?
Well, Darren, very much around Quade Cooper. He's apparently very close to walking away from rugby union at remote odds as well to play another game for the Reds or Wallabies, as negotiations to finalise the remaining components of his latest deal continue to get worse and worse. He did Twitter via social media at the weekend saying that he was very frustrated at what he termed to be the toxic Wallabies. He says his relationship with Robbie Deans is at rock bottom, so things are not looking very good for him at all. And given the climate, there's very little chance that he'll remain involved in Aussie rugby next year. Apparently a couple of French clubs are out for his services. Dan Carter.
Him and Kevin Peterson not maybe thinking of starting a rebel sports team together.
Yes, and maybe Usain Bolt, they could all get together, all three of them. Dan Carter is likely to play against Argentina this weekend after he came through training in a training session in Argentina after battling with a calf injury. And Morné Steyn, word has it that he could in fact play on Saturday if he overcomes his injury, because Johan Goosen and Francois Steyn both have injuries. Francois Steyn injured his ankle and was on crutches as the squad practiced, but team doctors said they'll make a decision on his availability sometime tomorrow or the next day. We'll go live to their training session just after 4 o'clock and hopefully get an idea of what's going on there. They're at 4 ways high. And the West Indies have qualified for the Super 8s of the World T20 after rain prevented a second innings in their key group game against Ireland in Colombo. And we're likely to take them on Friday as the tournament reaches the climax. John Terry and Anton Ferdinand met at Wembley as the Chelsea's Captain's Football Association disciplinary hearing over allegations he racially abused the QPR defender started today. I'll update you on all those stories later on this afternoon here on Ballz Visual Radio.
All right, so what time's Brian coming in?
Brian said he'd be in just before 3 o'clock.
All right, so he'll be in a short while. We'll also, while we're doing that, get Kurt on the phone and also Francie Botha as well, and then there's a whole lot of other people that we can chat to this afternoon as well, and people are sending through some of their notes and memory. I mean, Twitter, just how much that guy touched people's lives in one way or another. Twitter this weekend.
Well, I walked off the golf course on Sunday morning.
Again?
Sunday afternoon, yeah, and I was over it.
Going wrong again, was it?
Yeah, no, I was over it. Now I walked off at about 12 o'clock and was scrolling through my Twitter feed, and that's how I found out. And of course, Corrie loved golf. Yeah. I mean, that was, and I remember playing a head-to-head with him for Complete Golfer last year, and beating him. It wasn't easy because he was a great golfer. I had to chip over the handicap.
As you do.
No, he was a fantastic golfer, and I mean, I know you and I played golf with him a month ago.
Yeah.
And you even more recently.
Yeah, I played 2 weeks ago with him.
Yeah.
First time I ever beat him, and he was so looking forward to revenge. So looking forward to revenge.
It was, I mean,
but always
tragic.
Everything he did was in just such a nice, mischievous way. I mean, every time he saw you, first thing he did was probably grab you or chase you around the room with his right fist ready to pummel the living daylights out of you.
Yeah, he'd pin me down, and then Bachelor would hit me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I think Batch wanted to hit you.
Yeah, it's like pack hunting.
Yeah. But it was always done in such a nice, friendly way. No one ever looked at him going, geez, I'm in trouble with this guy. You could always look in his eyes and look in his face and just see that he's actually...
He was a gentle giant.
Yeah, and even people that met him once, as soon as they met him afterwards, were like, what a lacquer guy. They really just loved him. Yeah. It's really sad.
And he had great plans. I mean, I remember when we were playing about a month ago, he was talking about how he wants to open this boxing academy, and he wants to train champions, and that's what he wanted to do, and that was in the pipeline.
I think yesterday he had a meeting with somebody in connection with that, and he was just telling people just how positive he was looking at his life going forward, because as I said, I mean, he broke down a few times, and he was really in a desperate way, and things were looking very, very positive. And as you say, that's one of them. And as we'll hear from Kurt, also just some of the things he just wanted to do with his friends. He loved being with friends, he loved being with people, which is why he could combine the two. I think him playing golf, the nice part about it was that he could hang out with just people that he liked. you know, and no matter who he played with, even if he played with someone he'd never met in his life before, by the time the round was finished, he was, you know, that person just loved Corrie.
Yeah.
And that was the nature of the man.
And what I said it earlier, but you know, for someone so big, he just had the most deft touch on a golf course. You couldn't believe that a guy this big could actually manufacture and play the shots that he did. I mean, he was off scratch one. I mean, it was fantastic.
Except 2 weeks ago. He struggled a little bit with that.
I think he was letting you win.
All right, lots about Corrie Sanders coming up today here on Ballz Visual Radio. Listen out for that, and again on Monday. Remember, 11 o'clock, Wonderpark in Geerkerk in the Pretoria North area. That is on Monday at 11 o'clock, the funeral. There's Lincoln Park now on Ballz Visual Radio.
2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mondays to Fridays live on ballz.co.za. Ballz.co.za.